Hey guys, Sean Terry here, Flip2Freedom.com. So here's a question I get all the time. How do I increase my wholesale fee? They're like, my wholesale fee is so small, I don't know how, I can't figure it out. They're getting $5,000, $2,000, $3,000, $6,000 wholesale fees, and they want to get bigger spreads, bigger fees. How do you do it? Well, in the short video, I'm going to share exactly what we do in the technique. Our average deal size right now is about $21,700. And there's a couple techniques we do to ensure that we have larger spreads. And number one is an expectation going in, and you can build in the number into your negotiation, and you can negotiate from that point. So the first thing is you have to have an expectation going in that, listen, and make a decision. We've got to increase our spreads. We've got to get to $20,000. It's just a mental thing when you're negotiating. What happens, we're people pleasers. We want to please the seller. So we know we can sell it at 150, and we start a negotiation at 140, and then we start negotiating 140, and then all of a sudden, boom, next thing we know, we're at like 146, and it has a $4,000 spread, and we don't understand what happened, right? We got to now a $4,000 spread. So there's a couple things to ensure that you don't get into that mix, is what most people do. The first thing, other than the expectation, or actually the second thing, is having these four numbers. These four numbers are absolutely critical. These are the four numbers that we give to our sales guys, or they actually compute when they've been doing the business for a while. So our senior sales guys, they know these four numbers. They know exactly what to do. Our junior sales guys, we provide these four numbers, and then we show them how to get them. So the numbers are, number one, ARV. What is ARV? ARV is after repair value, and those are typically the highest comps in the area, right? Now, you have to understand, first off, what's the formula to look for comps, because you can look into, say, Zillow. You got maybe REI Automator, and it has comps inside there. You look at the MLS. There's a bunch of different ways you can look at comps, but primarily comps. And how I got this information, I got it by doing hundreds and hundreds of fix and flips, and I actually met appraisers at the property. And I helped them tape out the property, and I asked them, how did you come up with comparable sales? And they, through the hundreds of appraisers that I met properties, they basically gave me the formula of exactly how to come up with comparable sales, what they use to determine value in their appraisals. And here's it. Once you understand this formula, then you can go into the marketplace and pull the comps that make sense to determine, first off, is ARV. Once you get ARV, then everything else becomes easy. So after repair value. Now, what you essentially do is you can go into the marketplace, and you're looking for similar or like properties. So single story for single story properties, they're on the same lot. So if you have one property on a 23,000 square foot lot and another one on a 7,000 square foot lot, that won't be comparable, because there's obviously one has more land than the other. Also, properties that are, so they're similar. You have a mobile home for a regular single family home. So you want to have similar like properties. That's the first thing. Second thing is, it's properties that have closed and sold in the last 90 days, right? Last 90 days they've sold. That's number two. Number three, they have to be within 10% of the square footage, give or take, positive or negative, 10% of the square footage. Number four, they have to be within you start off in the subdivision, and then they look a quarter mile, then they look a half mile, then they look a 1 mile radius. So you go back 90 days, and you look subdivision, quarter mile, half mile, 1 mile, and they're looking for comps. They want to find the subdivision first, and they want to find like properties in the subdivision that sold in the last 90 days. And then if they can't find anything here, then they're going to go to a quarter mile, then they're going to go half mile, then they're going to go 1 mile, right? So you have all those, right? Properties that sold in the last 90 days, and it's within within 10 years of a year built. You can't comp a property that's built in 2015 that's built in 1973. So it has to be as close as possible. And what they're doing is they're trying to find identical properties that have sold recently in the last 90 days that are within the subdivision. I love finding properties that are what's called model matches. So you have a property and then you find the exact same property, same square footage, same tile house in the subdivision that sold in the last 90 days. That's essentially a model match, and an appraiser is going to use that comp as determining their value. Okay, so what we're looking for in using that formula, right? Using that formula going into the marketplace, we're looking for the highest sold comparable properties in the last 90 days. And they're properties that are typically fixed up, they're renovated. You can look at the pictures, you can see that they're renovated. And those are the highest comps within the last 90 days, right? That essentially will be the ARV, or after repair value of the property. You take those, you can add it together, divide it by 3, and that essentially is your ARV. Once you have that ARV number, then you can go down. I'm going to actually tell you about a tool that we use that makes this whole process incredibly simple. So anyway, so the bottom line is it starts with the ARV. Then the next number is the exit number, what you as a wholesaler are going to sell your property into the marketplace. Now it's interesting, that number changes by subdivision. It changes by area, changes by city, every different city, state, all that number is completely different. It could be 75%, could be 76% of ARV, it could be 82% of ARV. So it changes, and it's dynamic. It changes all the time. So what you're going to do is you got to look into that quarter mile. You're looking into a subdivision, half mile, quarter mile, 1 mile, the same parameters. Now you're looking at the lowest comps that sold. The lowest of the low. You got the highest of the high and the lowest of the low comps that sold. You're looking at the same parameter. Those are typically the wholesale transactions that have sold in the marketplace, right? And you're going to have some subdivisions where there are comps. You're going to have other subdivisions where there's really no comps. You might have to go back 6 months to be able to find the lowest of the low comps that have sold in that, and that will be your, essentially your exit number. Those are comps that have actually sold. Now people go, well, what about repairs? Well, repairs are built into those lowest of the low numbers. They're already built in. Buyers have bought it. They've took the repairs into an account. Unless the property is completely trashed, then or it just needs updating, it's literally taking an account in those sales. But if it's completely trashed, then you're going to have to add a deeper discount on there to make up for how bad the property is. Okay, so essentially what happens is now you have the lowest of the low comps with the same search parameter, and there's going to be a spread between the lowest of the low comps and the highest of the high comps, and that essentially is your exit percentage. Right? So you're going to have that exit percentage. Then what we do is now we're going to build in our spread. So we know what we can sell the property for. Now we're going to tack on $20,000, right? So theoretically, we're going to sell the property for $150. Now we're going to back out $20. Now we can turn around and now we have $130,000 as our max allowable offer. That's what it's called, max allowable offer. Off a max allowable offer, then we're going to take another 5% off that, which is going to be our number, which is going to start the negotiation. We want to start the negotiation. That's called the goal target number. We start the negotiation at that number, and then we can, what we call our wiggle room, and then we can move up to our max allowable. The problem is people start the negotiation, ask the max allowable, and they're negotiating away their profit. So some people only put a $10,000 max allowable offer, and what happens? They negotiate their profit away, and then they end up getting $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 fees. In this particular case, we are going to have our goal target number, and that's going to be our wiggle room. It's about 5% less, and that's going to give us wiggle room to negotiate to hit our max allowable offer. Bam! We ensure we have a $20,000 profit. So this tool, right, is called flipmorehouses.com, flipmorehouses. In it, you can go in there, you can put an address, and it will give you all those numbers. It will give you the ARV, it will give you the exit price, it will give you the max allowable, and it will give you the number. So if you go to that website, Flip More Houses, you're actually going to take you to a demo. You can use a coupon code called FLIPFAM, and you can flip fam and actually save 30% off the retail price of that software, which is killer. It actually gives you all the numbers and everything you need. So I hope this helps. This is how you ensure that you have a big spread. It's made a huge difference, allowed us to have average spread size at $21,700 by incorporating these numbers into the mix. So have an awesome day. Go out there and crush it and get huge monster spreads. God bless.